Good evening, all. We'll start the session. Yeah, I hope the screen is visible and my audio is audible. Please respond it in the chat box. Yeah, today we are going to discuss another important topic from our UGC NT paper 1 syllabus, that is people, development and environment. Okay, people, development and environment. We'll be discussing this topic. So am I audible? This my screen is visible. Yeah, yes, visible and audible. So first of all, I will be discussing a little regarding the syllabus and I will be going to some of the important topics. So this is a topic. We have the syllabus. We have around 7 topics. Firstly, we have, first of all, I will tell you what are the patterns of questions that are being normally asked from people, development and environment. Okay. So firstly, we have development and environment. As a part of this, we have Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals, about which we will be discussing today. Okay, firstly, we have Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. So it's an important one. A lot of questions are being asked from this topic, and it's directly they're asking which among the following are Millennium Development Goals and which among the following are Sustainable Development Goals. So that's the type of question that are being asked normally from this particular topic. We'll be moving to that one. So when it comes to the first topic, that is development and environment, what you have to focus, you have to by heart, you have to study which are the different Millennium Development Goals and which are the different Sustainable Development Goals. Moving to the next second point, that is a human and environment interaction. Okay, we have human and environment interaction. As a part of that, you have to study anthropogenic activities and the impacts on the environment. Actually, the point number 2 and 3 are relatable in many ways, because in point number 2 they are asking about the human and environment interaction. Okay, they are talking about, or they have given human and environment interaction, anthropogenic activities and their impacts on environment. Along with point number 3, we have environmental issues, local, regional and global, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. These all are different harmful impacts or adverse effects that's happening on environment due to the activities of humans, basically humans. I hope you know what you mean by anthropogenic activities. Anthropogenic activities are activities that are normally done by humans. So the third point, environmental issues, whether it's the different types of environmental issues, we have the local, regional and global, as well as we have the air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution and noise pollution, also different type of waste like solid, liquid, etc. This all are some ways coming under different impacts on environment due to different anthropogenic activities. So next we have point number 4. As a part of point number 4, we have impacts of pollutants on human health. Okay, because it's also related with the pollution. As a part of pollution, we have the concept of pollutants. Pollutants are those substances that creates pollution. Pollution is an undesirable change in the quality of something, environment, some aspect of environment. So there are, when different pollutants are being introduced into the human body, or different pollutants, or when we ingest different food material or water, or we drink water that is contaminated with different types of pollutants, there are different types of adverse or harmful health effects that we have to face. So that's what you have to study under the 4th point, that is the impacts of pollutants on human health. Okay, we have the impacts of pollutants on human health. Moving to the next topic, moving to the 5th topic. So next we have the 5th topic. Okay, we have the 5th topic. It's natural and energy resources. Okay, as a part of 5th topic, you have natural and energy resources. So it's a comparatively easy topic that we have been studying from our school life itself. Okay, it's a comparatively easy topic we have been studying from our school life itself. There are different sources of energy. We have different sources of energy. We have So renewable energy as well as we have non-renewable energy. We have studied from our school times different types of energy like renewable energy and non-renewable energy. As a part of non-renewable, we have petroleum, coal, diesel, fractional distillation of petroleum. We have studied such different concepts as a part of chemistry. But when it comes to our UGC and TNN syllabus, there is no need of going to non-renewable energy resources. You have to focus on renewable energy resources. Okay, renewable energy resources, that are the energy resources that can be replenished or that can be reproduced easily. Okay, that can be reproduced easily. Then we have a sixth topic as natural hazards and disasters. Okay, we have different natural hazards and disasters, mitigation strategies. Then finally we have Environmental Protection Act, National Action Plan on Climate Change, international agreements or efforts, Montreal Protocol, Rio Summit, Convention on Biodiversity, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, International Solar Alliance, etc. This all are come under the general topic, that is global environmental conservation efforts. So this is an important aspect. Okay, this is an important aspect. A lot of questions are being asked from this particular topic. Okay, a lot of questions are being asked from this particular topic. So before moving to more questions or before moving to the topics, which I have to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. Which are your tough areas out of these 7 topics? Okay, out of these 7 major topics, which are your tough areas? Please post it in the chat box. Okay, which are your tough areas? Okay, tell me, post it in the chat box. Let me see which are those. Whether it's development and environment, millennium development goals and sustainable development goals. We have human and environment interaction, anthropogenic activities. We have environmental issues, impacts of pollutants on human health. Then we have natural and energy resources. We have solar, wind, soil, hydro, geothermal, and we have natural hazards and disasters, different mitigation strategies. And finally, we have Environmental Protection Act, National Action Plan on Climate Change, international agreements, which all, yeah, different plants and pollutions. Yeah, for some it is, okay. Yeah, for Wiki, it's different plants and pollution. Then for the HANA, it is global environmental conservation efforts, different global environmental conservation efforts. So what about others? Yeah, next also global environmental conservation effort as per Salida George. It's an important of. What about others? Please respond in the chat box. You can put your answer or you can text it in the chat box. Yeah. Then for some it's environmental issues. Okay, so that's it. So as a part of today's session, we'll be discussing some important topics. Okay, we'll be discussing some important topics. A very few important topics we'll be discussing. Okay, first of all, I will be discussing fastly. Okay, there is no need of taking some special sessions on that. Yeah, I will be discussing the human and development, the concept that's Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. It's a very easy topic. Okay, so various concentrations and summits. I think for okay, Tasnova, I think it's different. Yeah, convention and summits we'll be discussing. Dates and years. Okay, convention is corrected. Yeah, dates and years. A lot of questions are not being asked from dates, especially in case of environment. Very few questions are being asked. Okay, so there is no need of much worry regarding questions regarding dates. Okay, so first of all, I will be discussing those topics: the convention, the concept of protocol, global environmental conservation efforts, the concept of Kyoto Protocol, etc. We'll be discussing all those. Don't worry. So first of all, I will be just fastly rewinding the topic: Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so there are 8 goals which are coming under Millennium Development Goals, and there are 17 goals which are coming under Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, Sustainable Development Goals. So remember the basic introduction regarding Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals, as well as basic target coming under, or the target year coming under both Millennium and Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, target year coming under both Millennium and Sustainable Development Goals, because that years are being asked in the question. So we have Millennium Development Goals was adopted in September 2000, and it as a part of the its eight goals, 18 target, and 48 indicators. Okay, then the target year for Millennium Development Goals is 2015, and Sustainable Development Goal was started in the year 2016, and the target year is 2030. Okay, it's a 15-year duration for both cases. So we have 2000 to 2015, we have Millennium Development Goals, and 2016 to 2030, we have Sustainable Development Goals. That's it. Millennium Development Goals, we have 8 goals. Sustainable Development Goals, we have 17 goals. I will be just fastly forwarding the goals. We have, I'm not spending much time on this. Goal 1 as eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Goal 2, achieve universal primary education. Goal 3, promote gender equality and empower women. Reduce child mortality. Improve maternal health. Combat HIV, AIDS, malaria, and other diseases. Ensure environmental sustainability, and finally develop a global partnership for development. Okay, these are the 7 goals coming under. So as a part of this, I hope some of you will be having a doubt regarding whether you have to study different targets or not. Okay, whether you have to study different targets or not. I will tell you there is no need of studying target on a normal case, because as of now, no much questions are being asked, or usually questions are not being asked from target. They usually ask questions from the direct goals. Okay, regarding direct Millennium Development Goals. But because if you are studying the goals, it's okay, it's 8. If you are studying the target, there are 18 target. But sorry, but last time a question was asked from this target also. Okay, a question from was asked from this target also. So, but it's not practicable if you are going to study, or it's a bit tough. You are studying all the targets. Okay, so these are the 8 goals you have to study. You have to by heart it, because they are asking a lot of questions from the last year, in which they give you a mix of both Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. And after that, they ask you to choose which among the following are Millennium Development Goals and which among the following are Sustainable Development Goals. So next we have Sustainable Development Goals, adopted in 2015, came into force in 2016 to 2030. And the Sustainable Development Goals, we also say it as transforming our world, the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Usually there's sometimes I ask question, transforming our world, the 2030 agenda, what is the outcome? What is the outcome of transforming? Okay, what is the outcome of transforming our world, the 2030 agenda for sustainable development? I will say it's Sustainable Development Goals. As a part of Sustainable Development Goals, we have 17 Sustainable Development Goals and 116 targets. So it's not practicable, it's not possible to study the complete targets. Okay, so there are 17 goals. Okay, 17 goals. No poverty, okay, and hunger, ensure healthy lives, ensure inclusive, achieve gender equality, ensure access to water, inclusive and sustainable job, resilient infrastructure, reduce inequality, make inclusive cities, sustainable consumption, combating climate change, conserve sea and marine resources, sustainably using forests, promote peaceful society, and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. So this 17 comes under the Sustainable Development Goals. So you want to study both Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. There are a lot of questions being asked by which among the following are Millennium Development Goals, or which among the following are Sustainable Development Goals. So I hope you will be having a confusion how to study the complete Sustainable Development Goals. You can create your own codes or something like that, or I will suggest you by heart the Millennium Development Goals, and then you read Sustainable Development Goals many times, 15, 20 times. Then it will be possible for you have to recollect. Since it's an objective exam, it's not compulsory that you have to study all the 17 questions and you have to point out one by one. Instead, it should be possible for you to categorize, or you to distinguish Sustainable Development Goals when it is given along with some other goals. In such situation, some of our friends take an idea that they will be by hurting the Millennium Development Goals, and they assume that all the remaining goals given in the question will be a Sustainable Development Goals. Remember, that doesn't work in many cases. They give a mix of Millennium Development Goals sustainable development goals, and some other goals out of both of these. And they ask which among the following are millennium development goals and which among the following are sustainable development goals. So make sure you by heart millennium development goals and you read sustainable development goals maximum number of times. Okay, and another important aspect is when it comes to millennium development goals, we can see, I will show you, there will be an improving aspect. There will not be a direct, there will not be a direct attack, or there will not be a 100% resolution of the problem. See, universal primary education, it's not talking about education for all. Promote gender equality, reducing the child mortality, improving the maternal health, which means in millennium development goals, normally they will be using an improving aspect, not ending aspect. A problem will be trying to resolve. The harmful effect of a problem will be reduced as a part of millennium development goals. But when it comes to sustainable development goals, it will be completely removed. Okay, here see, reduce child mortality, improve maternal health. But when you go to sustainable development goals, see the goals. No poverty, it's an absolute attack, 100% no poverty, ending hunger. And also you can see in most of millennium development goals, sustainable development goals, it will be catering the whole society. Okay, for all at all ages. Okay, for all, and promote lifelong learning, achieve gender equality, and empower all women and girls, sanitation for all. So it will be more inclusive energy for all. It will be including all. So these are the two basic shortcuts that you can use so as to identify distinguish between millennium development goals and sustainable development goals. Remember, it doesn't work in all cases because sometimes they may not be giving the whole goals, they will be giving the first part only. So the two categorize, or so the two distinguishing factors is, first one, in millennium development goals, they will be generally showing the things. Okay, they will be generally telling in a case of improving the aspect, not completely removing. But when it comes to sustainable development goals, it will be complete removal, as well as you can see focusing on whole, universal, complete, you can see on the sustainable development goals. So this is what I have to say regarding the millennium development goals or sustainable development goals. It's an easy topic. Yeah. Now I will be discussing, is it clear? Do let me know. Is it clear? Just please respond in the chat box. Yeah, so we'll be moving. Okay, we'll be moving to the next aspect, that is global environmental conservation efforts. So before going to global environmental conservation aspect, let me tell you, tomorrow we'll be having, tomorrow we'll be having a all India level mock test. Okay, tomorrow night, that's on NET. We'll not be having the what we can say, we'll not be having the regular class. Okay, we'll not be having the regular class. We'll be having the all India level mock test. We'll be having. Okay, we'll be having all India level mock test tomorrow. So you can attend it. It's completely free of cost. There is no special payment for that. You can download Aifer learning app. Okay, the link for the app and other will be given in the description of this video. Okay, if you can directly search in the website and Play Store or App Store, and you can get the app. So instead, you can also get the link from the YouTube video. So I will be just showing how you can attend the exam. Just a minute. Yeah. Here. You definitely attend the exam. It's entirely free of course. You get a clear idea on how the original examination would be. You will understand the question pattern. You can practice the time management. There will be a chance for self-analysis. Okay, self-analysis will be there. You can download it from either App Store or the Play Store, available for both NTA, both Android as well as Play Store, App Store. yeah, this will be the app. You can just get your registered, then you can sign up. Okay, then you can you can in the course. Okay, there will be an option to select the course. Okay, here there will be an option to select the course in the right bottom corner. In that you can choose UGC NET model exam. Okay, you can choose UGC NET model exam, and within that there will be an option to go to the test. Okay, under test you can see the mock test. Under the mock test you can see the all India level mock test. So this is the app, Aifer learning app. Make sure you attend the exam. Okay, make sure you attend the exam. Definitely it will be helping you. So tomorrow we'll not be having class regular live. Instead we'll be having an exam, all India level mock test. A large number of students will be attending. You can definitely, it will be an idea for you, it will be a time for you to analyze yourself, assess with others. You can see your rank, so and so. So that's it. If you have any doubts regarding attending the exams or anything, you can ask now. Else we'll be moving to the remaining. Okay, the last aspect related to environment we have to discuss. That's a global environmental conservation efforts. Okay, we'll be discussing global environmental conservation efforts. Okay, so yeah, I know when you go to the syllabus, when you check in the syllabus, you can't see such a topic, global environmental conservation efforts. Okay, you can't see such a direct topic, global environmental conservation efforts. Instead, there is a seventh topic. Okay, most of you told, which is your, when I asked you the question, which is your toughest topic, most of you told, or many of you told me that it's a topic number 7. Okay, it's a topic number 7. Okay, it's a topic number 7. So this one, that is global environmental conservation efforts, is a topic number 7. Okay, global environmental conservation efforts is a topic number 7. Okay, that is, it comes under different convention on biological diversity, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. We have the Kyoto Protocol, we have the Montreal Convention, we have International Solar Alliance. So there are different types of efforts that are being taken as a global level, as an international level, as well as within a national level. When it comes to national level, we'll be talking about India only. There are Indian initiated International Solar Alliance. Then we have the Environmental Protection Act. It's an entirely an act, a law in India. Then we have a National Action Plan on Climate Change, another effort from the side of India so as to fight climate change. So all these sort of questions or all these sort of topics comes under global environmental conservation efforts. Okay, so we'll be going to that. Before that, many of you, when I ask you which are the toughest topic, many of you give me the answer, conventions and protocols. So first of all, I hope you know the difference between convention and protocols. What is the difference between convention and protocols? Convention is a general agreement, while protocol is a stipulated or a legally binding agreement. For example, I'm once again repeating a very common example, that is, we deciding that we all want to study well, or we are going to study well next term or for the next exam, and we are going to qualify. It's a decision made in, it can be considered, just for the sake of understanding, a decision made in the convention, because there we have a general agreement that we have to study well. But when it comes to protocol, there will be a legally binding agreement, which means that we are going to study 2 hours every day. If anybody among us don't study for 2 hours, they have to sponsor the treat for others the next day. So it's a legally binding, in which you have a punishment, you have a reward, etc. So that's the general difference between convention and protocols. I hope it's clear. And normally a protocol will be arising out of a convention. A protocol will be arising out of a convention, because first of all, most of the major international countries will be sitting together, and they will be coming to a general agreement. Okay, they will be coming to a general agreement that we have to phase out ozone, or we have to protect ozone. And within those, most of the countries will be again sitting together, and they will be devising out, or they will be deciding on a legally enforceable mechanism. And such type of mechanisms, when such type of mechanisms are being decided, we call it is a protocol. So protocols comes under as a child of convention normally. And also when it comes to the word, so let me ask you, what will be the uh, conventional protocol which can you see in large numbers? Okay, convention protocol which can you see in large number? Please give me the answer in the chat box. Conventional protocol which are in large number. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to convention protocol, convention will be in large numbers because it's a general agreement. Okay, it's a general agreement. It's not a legally binding agreement. Okay, it's a general agreement and it's not a legally binding agreement. Okay, it's not a legally binding agreement. So convention will be, because for every convention, for any convention, most of the countries will be ready to be a part of convention because it's a general discussion, it's a general agreement. But most of the countries will not be a part of protocol because there will be stipulated rules, there will be a legally binding agreement also. There will be a stipulated rule as well as there will be a legally binding agreement. So most of the countries will not like to be a part of the protocol. So we can have a, so we can hear about you, or you will be hearing a large number of conventions. It may be the Vienna Convention, the Convention on Biological Diversity, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. We'll be having the Bonn Convention, we'll be having the Geneva Convention, we'll be having the Washington Convention, the Stockholm Convention, the Rotterdam Convention, United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea. There are different type of convention, but when it comes to protocol, there will be very few protocol. The Montreal Protocol, the Nagoya, the Cartagena, Kyoto, and very few. You can't see or you can't count a large number of protocols, because protocols, the major reason is protocols are legally binding one, which most of the countries don't want to be a part of. So I hope you are clear regarding what is a convention and what is a protocol, what is the difference between a convention and a protocol, and also why there are a large number of convention and a very few number of protocols. Is it clear? Just post yes in the chat box, or no. If not clear, post no in the chat box. Let me see for how many is clear. The difference between convention and protocol. Yeah, clear for Wiki, Deba. Now, yeah, moving to the next aspect. So we'll be moving to important convention of the important conventions for, or important efforts for environmental conservation. So when you are discussing about any convention, or when you are discussing about any sort of protection, environmental protection method, it may have, or it will be having some sort of relationship between Rio Summit. Okay, so first of all, before going to that, first of all, let's try to understand how global environmental conservation efforts evolved. Which means when you go to the history, we have the environmental conservation efforts in the 18th century or 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century itself, beginning mid of the 20th century. But from an academic perspective, especially for UGC NT-NET perspective, they ask question basically the UN conservation efforts. And an organized, a structured environmental conservation efforts from the side of UN started in the year 1972. There were many private organization, okay, there were many individual or private efforts for the protection of environment before also, but for an academic perspective, an UN mediated global environmental conservation efforts begin in the year 1972 with the Stockholm conference, with the United Nations Conference of UN Environment in Stockholm in Sweden, and the first meeting was between the date June 5 to 16, or it was started in the year June 5th. That's the reason why we have a World Environment Day on June 5th every year. Okay, June 5th every year we have World Environment Day. The reason why we have World Environment Day on June 6th is it was on June 5th. On June 5th, okay, in 1972, we have the first United Nations Conference on Human Environment took place. Okay, so it was as a part of this conference, we have the United Nations Environment Program, or the UN body for dealing with environmental conservation was established, UNEP. UNEP is a UN body for conservation of environment or dealing with environmental issues. And very important, the headquarters of UNEP is Nairobi in Kenya. So UNEP is the only UN organization, major organization, which have headquarters in Africa. Okay, UNEP headquarters is in Nairobi, Kenya. Then after, so 1972, we have first meeting, then we have different meeting in the 1980, we have Sustainable Development World Conservation Strategy. 1982, we have the next summit, UN General Assembly, World Charter for Nature. 83, we have Brundtland Commission. 87, so and so. We are not discussing much. It's just the cycle of evolution of global environmental conservation efforts. And the most important step so far in the era of UNEP so as to deal with global environmental conservation happened in the year 1992 June. That's a United Nations Conference on Environment and Development that took place in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which is also known as the Earth Summit or the Rio Summit. Okay, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, also known as Earth Summit of Rio Summit in 1992 June. So when we discuss about the global environmental conservation efforts from a UGC NT&NET perspective, most of the questions are from this Rio Summit, about Rio Summit, about Convention on Biological Diversity and UNFCCC, which are a part of Rio Summit, about Kyoto Protocol, which is a part of Rio Summit. Okay, these are the areas in which they ask maximum number of questions. So you should be clear, thorough with Rio Summit. Okay, so there are different outcomes of Rio Summit. We have the Agenda 21. Okay, we have an Agenda 21, Rio Declaration, and the most important outcome of Rio Summit. Okay, most important outcome of Rio Summit, which was out of these three, two was specifically mentioned in the syllabus, was 3 conventions, which are known as Rio Convention. Okay, most important outcome of Rio Summit was Rio Convention, 3 conventions which are together known as Rio Convention. The first convention was dealing with biological diversity, and we have the second one dealing with climate change, and the third one dealing with desertification. So we have biological diversity, we have climate change, and we have desertification. So the convention dealing with biological diversity is known as Convention on Biological Diversity. The convention dealing with biological diversity is Convention on Biological Diversity. The convention dealing with climate change is UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. The convention dealing with climate change is, okay, the convention dealing with climate change is UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. The convention dealing with desertification is UN Convention to Combat Desertification. Okay, UN Convention to Combat Desertification. So firstly, we have Convention on Biological Diversity or CBD. Secondly, we have UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. These are the 2 important conventions. The third one is not that much important. These 2 conventions has been specifically pointed out in our NT&NET paper 1 syllabus. And remember, the expansion of UNFCCC has been asked a lot of time. Okay, so you should be thorough with UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. UN means United Nations. So we have the first convention, Convention on Biological Diversity, that deals with Convention on Biological Diversity. And as a part of that, we have, okay, the headquarters is Montreal, and Convention of Biological Diversity meets every 2 years. These 2 are an important point. The headquarters or the Secretariat of Convention on Biological Diversity is Montreal in Canada, and the meets every 2 years. Okay, And as a part of Convention on Biological Diversity, we have two protocols. We have Cartagena Protocol and we have Nagoya Protocol. Okay. We have two protocols. Okay. We have two protocols coming under Convention on Biological Diversity. Okay. They are Cartagena. We have two protocols coming under Convention on Biological Diversity. They are Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya Protocol. Okay, we have Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya Protocol. So Cartagena Protocol deals with, okay, safe handling, transport, and use of living modified organisms. Okay, so it talks about, it deals with proper usage, proper handling, proper transport of living modified organisms, okay, which are normally produced as a part of modern biotechnology. So living modified organisms are produced, or they are originated mainly as a part of modern biotechnology. Okay, as a part of modern biotechnology. So Cartagena Protocol deals with living modified organisms, and so it has a lot of relation between with the genetically modified crops or BT crops. Okay, and there is a special group of countries known as Miami Group that opposes the Cartagena Protocol provisions. Okay, there is a special provision of countries, or there is a special group of countries known as the Miami Group. Okay, there is a special group of countries known as the Miami Group. Miami Group rejects, or Miami Group opposes the Cartagena Protocol provision. Why they oppose? It's simple. Because Cartagena Protocol puts a lot of limits, a lot of control on the transport trade of products arising from living modified organisms, which means they have a lot of mechanisms to control improper use of BT crops or biotechnology crops or genetically modified crops or GM crops. And these countries, which are a part of Miami Group, that is the countries like US, Canada, Australia, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, they are the major exports of GM crops across the world. And a lot of they get a lot of money from this one. That's the reason they oppose that one. So we have, firstly, we have Cartagena Protocol that deals with the safe handling, trade, and usage of living modified organism. And within Cartagena Protocol, as a supplementary protocol, we have Nagoya Kuala Lumpur Supplementary Protocol. It gives the mechanisms of liability and redressal that comes under Cartagena Protocol. Remember, Cartagena and Nagoya are two independent protocols. But when it comes to Cartagena, within Cartagena, there is a supplementary protocol which is known as Nagoya Kuala Lumpur that deals with liability and redressal mechanism related to living modified organisms. Okay. So next we have Nagoya Protocol. Nagoya protocols deal with access benefit sharing. When it comes to, when we discussed first time Cartagena Protocol, I told you that Cartagena Protocol deals with usage of or trade of living modified organisms. Nagoya Protocol deals with access benefit sharing. Okay, which means Nagoya Protocol talks about equal access to genetic resources or fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. Okay, so Nagoya Protocol talks about access benefit sharing or fair and equitable use of products arising out of biodiversity. Then we have, so that's all about the first convention, Convention on Biological Diversity. We have two protocols coming under Convention on Biological Diversity. That is the Cartagena Protocol dealing with the living modified organism, and the Nagoya Protocol that deals with the fair and equitable usage of the resources. Then we have the second convention, that is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, we have UNFCCC. As the name indicates, it talks about climate change, or it deals with climate change. Okay, so the first one, that is a Convention on Biological Diversity, was meeting every 2 years. Okay, every 2 years, but this one meets annually. Okay, so Convention on Biological Diversity, the meeting was every 2 years, and UNFCCC meeting happens every year, annual meeting. That is known as the Climate Change Conference. Every year, last 2 years, definitely due to the COVID, there is some restriction. Before that, every year we can see the climate change, the Copenhagen Conference, the Qatar Conference. Okay, protesters outside the Qatar Conference, so and so will be reading in the newspaper. So every annual climate change conference is actually the meeting of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so the aim of this convention is to prevent or reduce harmful impacts of climate change. And we know one of the most important reason for climate change is nowadays is greenhouse gas concentration or increased amount of greenhouse gas. So we can say very simply, the ultimate objective of UNFCCC is to stabilize greenhouse gas concentration at a level which prevent dangerous interference in the climate system. So what is the objective of UNFCCC? The objective of UNFCCC is to stabilize greenhouse gas concentration. Okay, the objective of UNFCCC is to stabilize greenhouse gas concentration. So it's a very important point. Okay, it's a very important point. Yeah, moving to the most important protocol in the world, I will say, with regards to environmental conservation. Okay, with regards to environmental conservation. If anybody of you are yet to register or regarding our mock test, you can see the link of details of how to attend mock test and everything in the chat box. From Aifer Education, you can see a message. Okay, you can go to that particular document to know how to attend the exam and other details. So we are moving to the Kyoto Protocol. So Kyoto Protocol is a protocol coming under UNFCCC. We have the Cartagena Protocol and Nagoya Protocol coming under Convention on Biological Diversity. But when it comes to Kyoto Protocol, it comes under UNFCCC. So Kyoto Protocol, I told you the basic objective of UNFCCC. The basic objective of UNFCCC is to stabilize greenhouse gas concentration. So it's a general agreement that is to stabilize the greenhouse gas concentration. But when it comes to Kyoto Protocol, they will be having a more legally binding or more specific goal. That is, it's an international agreement. It's an international agreement which commits it parties setting internationally binding emission reduction target, which binds it parties setting international emission reduction targets. Okay, so there are a lot of factual knowledge you have to study with regards to Kyoto Protocol, a lot of factual values or years, etc. I will discuss all those now. Remember this, write down this. Definitely this is going to help you in the exam. Okay, so we have discussing different factual knowledge related with Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol started signing. Okay, started the signing process, or it was originated, not came into force in the 1997 Kyoto Summit. Okay, 1997 Kyoto Summit started signature. Then in 2001, Marrakesh. Okay, in 2001, Marrakesh, we have details decided. That is a Marrakesh Accords, details decided. I'm just writing details decided so as to be clear, easy to understand. So started signature in the year 1997. It's a summit at Kyoto. Details regarding how the system mechanism will be working was decided in the 2001 Marrakesh Accords or the Marrakesh meeting. Then we have, after this one, we have in 2005 came into force. Kyoto Protocol came into force 2005. Okay, 2005. Then it has two commitment period. First commitment period 2018, sorry, 2008 to 12. Then it has a second commitment period. That is from 2013 to. So we have the first commitment period 2008 to 12, and we have the second commitment period 2013 to 20. Okay, we have the second commitment period 2013 to 20. And within the first commitment period, the countries has to reduce greenhouse gases by 5% of NET level. Okay, NET level. In the second commitment period, the countries which are a part of that, or the countries which are which has to reduce 18% of NET level. Okay, so by what year? That is no importance, because first commitment period is from 2008 to 12. So by 2012, as part of the first commitment period, the countries has to reduce their greenhouse gas emission by 5% of the 1990 level. And in second commitment period, they have to reduce 18% of the 1990 level. Okay, 18% of the 1990 level. So these are different factual aspects you have to study regarding Kyoto Protocol. They ask a lot of questions from this particular topic. Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto is a place in Japan from which the signature was started in 1997. Details was decided in 2001 Marrakesh Accords. That details is also known as Marrakesh Accords. Then we have came into force in the year 2005. There are two commitment periods. First commitment period is 2005 to 2008 to 12, and second commitment period is 2013 to 20. There is no third commitment period beyond 2020. Beyond 2020, we don't have any commitment period. Instead, we have the Paris Agreement. Okay, beyond 2020, we have the Paris Agreement. Okay, it talks about Paris Agreement. So this is Kyoto Protocol. Due to paucity of time, I'm not discussing much, but I will just tell you, as per Kyoto Protocol, it deals with 6 greenhouse gases. Kyoto protocols deal with 6 greenhouse gases. Is very important, because which among there are a lot of questions that usually ask in the exam regarding which among the following are greenhouse gases. So how it is being categorized? Its categorization is mainly based on the Kyoto Protocol mechanism, because as per Annex A of Kyoto Protocol, it considers 6 gases as greenhouse gases. They are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, and sulfur hexafluoride. So as per Annex A, we have carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, and sulfur hexafluoride. Okay, we have sulfur hexafluoride. Okay, then we have I'm now discussing about different Kyoto mechanism. Then post 2020, there is no Kyoto commitment period 3. Instead, we have the Paris Agreement. Okay, we have the Paris Agreement. Then there are the important term related to Paris Agreement is INDC. It stands for Intended Nationally Determined Contributions. So when I discussed about the first commitment period with the reduction, greenhouse gas reduction of 5%, and within the second commitment period having a reduction rate of 18%, definitely you will be having a doubt that what is reduction commitment as per the third commitment period. The answer is, firstly, there is no third commitment period. Instead, we have a concept, or we have another agreement known as Paris Agreement, that will be dealing with global greenhouse gas stabilization process from 2021 onwards. Then the next question you will be asking is that, as per Paris Agreement, what's the percentage that has to be reduced? And the important thing is, as per the Paris Agreement, there is a percentage that has to be reduced, but it's not common for all countries, or it's not same for all countries. Instead, it used the concept of INDC. It used the concept of INDC. What you mean by INDC? Expansion is asked, expansion will ask again also, there is a chance. INDC talks about INDC can be expanded as intended nationally determined contribution. Okay, that's what INDC is all about. Intended nationally determined contribution. Okay, intended nationally determined contribution. What you mean by INDC? It means every country can decide what will be their reduction, what percentage they are ready to reduce. They are ready to reduce with regards to greenhouse gases. After they submit their proposal or their intention to Kyoto Protocol, it will be monitored. The body, UNFCCC body, it will be monitored. So INDC stand for intended nationally determined contribution, which means every country will be deciding what is its determined contribution. So these are the things we have to discuss regarding the Rio Summit. Just tell me, I will be discussing some other convention also. Is Rio Summit clear, or do you have any doubts regarding Rio Summit so far? Okay, any doubts, or is it clear? Yeah. Okay, so we have, yeah, I hope it's clear. There is no doubt. Yeah, clear. Okay. So I will be just mentioning some more conventions. Okay, I will be just mentioning some more convention. And if you want to know more regarding the different Kyoto mechanisms or different other, this global environmental conservation, we have detailedly discussed this global environmental conservation in different videos in 1 or 2 hours in our Aifer education YouTube channel. You can go as a part of Diksha Mission, JRF and other things we have discussed in detail. I know a lot of our friends are asking the doubt that we are just discussing environment within 1 hour. Is it okay? We are not discussing any previous questions, so and so. Yeah, definitely you have to study in detail, as well as you want to do as much previous question as possible. But we have in our YouTube channel, we have discussed almost all of the latest environment previous question and many past previous questions also. Okay, so you can subscribe our YouTube channel, you can share it, and you can go through different videos that comes under environment previous question discussion. This many of this topic now, due to lack of time, I am going through it very speed, I know, but we have discussed it in detail in our YouTube channel. Okay, you can go with that. So I'll be discussing some remaining conventions. So we have the Vienna Convention. I am just mentioning the convention and what's the basic purpose I will be telling. So we have the Vienna Convention. It deals with the protection of ozone layer. Vienna Convention deal with the protection of ozone layer, and under Vienna Convention we have the Montreal Protocol. Montreal Protocol that is legally binding, coming under Vienna Convention. Then we have Ramsar Convention. It deals with wetlands. Okay, that's important. That's what you have to study, and details you can see in the YouTube channel, or you can get it from other materials book, whatever it is. Ramsar Convention, it deals with, we have wetlands, the protection of wetlands, the preservation of wetlands. Okay, then we have the meeting of Ramsar Convention happens every 3 years. Ramsar is a place in Iran, and we have different around six international organization partners of Ramsar. Question is being asked from this: which among the following are the organizational partners or international organization partners of Ramsar? We have 6 organizational partners of Ramsar. We have IUCN, we have BirdLife International, we have Wetland International, we have Worldwide Fund for Nature, we have International Water Management Institute, we have Wildfowl and Wetland Trust. Okay, so we have a UCN, we have BirdLife International, we have Wetland International, we have World Wide Fund for Nature, we have International Water Management Institute, we have Wildfowl and Wetland Trust. Okay, Wildfowl and Wetland Trust. Then we have CITES, which can be expanded as Convention on International Trade on Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna, Washington Convention. This convention deals with international trade of wild animals, buying and selling tiger, lion, panda, cheetah. Okay, so this agreement deals with international trade in specimens of wild animals and plants. So as a part of tourism, zoo, many of these wild animals are being traded, mainly bought from Africa and bring to many so-called developed countries. So it was restricted, or it is controlled as per Washington Convention. Then we have Bonn Convention, which is also known as Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals. Okay, Bonn Convention is also known as Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals. We have the Bonn Convention. Okay, it deals with protection of migratory species. Okay, it deals with protection of migratory species of wild animals. Then we have Stockholm Convention. Stockholm Convention deal with the persistent organic pollutants. Okay, Stockholm Convention deal with persistent organic pollutants, or different pollutants that remain in the environment and cause a lot of harmful impacts to both flora and fauna in the long term. DDT comes under persistent organic pollutant. So as a part of Stockholm Convention, if it is decided that a particular persisting organic pollutants can't be produced or can't be used in the world, every country has to follow that one. Okay, then we have a UNESCO World Heritage. Then we have UNCLOS regarding the sea. Then we have the Basel Convention. Basel Convention deals with transboundary movement of hazardous waste. Okay, moving hazardous waste from one country to another country, deal with Basel Convention. Then we have Rotterdam Convention, the final convention for the time being. It talks about prior informed consent procedure for certain hazardous chemicals. So it's all about usage of hazardous chemical. So we have Rotterdam, prior informed consent. We have Basel Convention regarding the transboundary movement. We have the UNCLOS regarding the loss of the sea. Then we have Stockholm regarding persistent organic pollutants. Then we have Bonn Convention regarding the migratory species. We have Washington Convention dealing the flora and fauna. Then we have Ramsar Convention dealing with the wetland. Vienna Convention dealing with the ozone hole. Then Convention on Biological Diversity dealing with the biological diversity. UNFCCC dealing with the greenhouse. So these are the important global conservation efforts. Okay, these are the important global conservation efforts. I know due to lack of time, I have discussed only MDG and SDG as well as the global environmental conservation efforts. There are many other topics coming under environment, as well as I already told you, we didn't discuss any previous question, but you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. A lot of topics are there, a lot of videos are there discussing different topics from people development and environment, as well as you can get a lot of previous questions being explained in our YouTube channel, especially the latest questions. Okay, so that's it. If you have any doubts regarding any of the topics discussed today, you can put it in the chat box. As well as don't forget to attend the mock test tomorrow, same time of the class, and you can go through that document for the details. We'll not be having a live interactive class tomorrow. Instead, we'll be having the class day after tomorrow. We'll be continuing the discussion. Okay, if you have any doubts, please put it in the chat box. Okay, on tomorrow Saturday we don't have class. On Sunday we'll be having higher education. Okay, we'll be having higher education. Yeah, that's it. I hope it's clear. So that's it. Thank you all.